section already. Rotus.
So finally, I like this. We get to talk about the effects of the students' protest and look at it from the business side of things.
That's right.
All right. Yes. Yeah, there's something floating around on WhatsApp that the National Association of Nigerian Students is going to shut down Third Mainland Bridge today. This WhatsApp
thing. That is, if that goes.
Yeah, because they did it at the airports. Disrupted people who were trying to get flights. The chairman of NANS was on television yesterday talking about, the need to alert the rest of the country to what's going on. And of course, they're protesting what is it? Are we in our 8th month? I think it's the 8th month of the ASU deadlock, the Academic Staff Union of universities and the governments over salary, money that's owed, the proper system to use for paying wages and so on. So they disrupted people who were trying to get flights out of the country yesterday. And so again, this is something floating on WhatsApp, and I'm not sure if it is to believe.
They took the protest to the airports on Monday, Muritala Mohammed Airport. As of yesterday, they were billed to go to Apapa, which did not happen, unfortunately. However, they said they were strategizing for today. That's why they did not hold that protest around Apapa yesterday. And from the Punch newspapers at this morning, they are escalating further. In Abuja, they're blocking the airport road, so travelers might not have access to the airports today in Abuja. And the Kaduna Expressway as well will be blocked. These are reports from the Punch newspapers at this morning.
Yeah. So the issue now is whether, when you think about what they're fighting for, this comes down to human capital development, right? Which many say is Nigeria's biggest asset, not oil, in that you need to be investing in your future. That's through education, in order to be able to have your leaders of tomorrow that can lead the country as far as the economy is concerned, and so on and so forth. So this strike, having been on now for about 7-8 months, has really impacted students who are supposed to be getting continued education. And the sentiment is that government doesn't seem to care. Because if they really did care, then we wouldn't have been past 1 month or 2 months with this particular strike. They would have found a way to solve this. Now, I'm hearing from Business Day, according to Femi Gbajabiamila, that a preliminary agreement of some sorts has been reached. He was briefing journalists yesterday after a closed door meeting. I think he said they were there for 4 or 5 hours or so, and they were talking. Now, this is the thing that really blows my mind. Every time they have to wait for the president to come back from New York. He's there for the United Nations General Assembly, making some speech. Ironically, I think he's making a speech on education and how.
Oh my goodness!
So, yeah. That just tells you how that's just the Nigeria for you. He's supposed to go to New York to go and talk to them about importance of educating children or something. Meanwhile, this is what's happening here. And then I understand one of his. I don't really believe everything.
I saw that story as well.
Yeah, that is one of his daughters graduated from the UK
recently.
Even Gbajabiamila, I remember when he got in trouble when he went to Harvard for one of his kids' graduation. He was posting pictures everywhere. Yeah, so the sentiment is that they don't care. If they don't care, their children are in schools overseas. They don't have to worry about any of this stuff, and it's not hitting them as much as it should. So there's that, but this sort of thing, they say that there's after this 4-hour, 5-hour closed door meeting, the members of ASU are supposed to take what was discussed back to the leadership, back to their members. They'll see what their members say. But Buhari has to come back and they have to tell him what has been discussed. And then he has to now give his final approval. This system that we have, where, you've heard the announcement, President Buhari approves this, Buhari approves that. He has cabinet members, he has ministers, a minister of education. I mean, apparently he gives the minister, it was not 3 weeks, so how many weeks to solve this issue? That was
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and don't worry,
right. Nothing. So this thing where it is the president of the country that has to approve these things. It is so inefficient. It is so slow. I mean, I'm saying slow and inefficient. They've been striking now for 7 months, so slow has gone out of the window. But look, when you think about insecurity, when you think about crime, when you think about unemployment, when you think about, proper qualifications for our graduates, all this stems from what's going on now. So it's of high economic importance. I even feel bringing this up now, I feel late. Maybe it's something we should have been discussing when it was a 2 or 3 month thing, but I guess it's still happening. But then another thing is whether or not everybody should suffer this. And I think everyone should. I have something to do in Ikeja, which now I'm not even sure. If they shut down the bridge, then maybe I won't get there. And, perhaps this does need to happen, so that everybody sees how. Because look, again, if you look at the amount of the balance of payments on the central banks, balance of payments is what you receive in terms of payments and what you pay out, what's coming and going out. I think about almost $2 billion, or was it 2.5, went towards education in the first quarter of this year. So even amongst Nigerians, even us, the ones that we don't care either, because a lot of us children go to school overseas. So for not a lot, not the majority, but for a healthy number of Nigerians, they also think they say, it's so bad, it's really terrible. Anyway, they are going to get FX for their child to go to another school, and they don't really care either. So if it was a serious situation where everybody was taking it, and maybe I should even be calling myself out. Maybe I should be on the streets protesting as well. Everybody, if this was a heavy, serious situation, everybody would be out there talking about how bad it is. But we don't care about Nigeria's public universities, because a lot of us, when we think about education in this country, we just think about overseas, right? So the people who this is really affecting, maybe their voices are not loud enough, because in truth, should it only be the National Association of Nigerian Students that should be out there protesting now? Should it not be everyone, right? So there's layers of this conversation that needs to be had, but the economic impact, for the simple fact that we're talking about this on a business show, it is serious. I'm looking for a personal assistant right now to assist me with some stuff, and I've been going through CVs, and I'm still going through them, right? So there's ripple effects here, because not everybody can go and school overseas. So we'll wait and see whether President Buhari, when he comes back and he gives his grand approval, whether or not this actually solves the situation. But for NANS to be doing this, I personally commend them, because that this is a serious situation.
What I like about the students' protest, is that it really gives a sense of immediacy to something that is the inevitable outcome of the strike. Being that strike is going to have a vast economic impact on the country, on the economy, but that's further down the line.
Yeah.
Whereas the students' protests are making it that tumult very present and very today, so that everybody can actually see, okay, if they shut down, if they stop flights, you can feel the impact today.
Right. And there's even the question of the ecosystem around the schools. If anyone who's gone for NYSC and looked at the little mini markets that are around each of those places, for these schools, there are people who sell them books, items that they use for school, restaurants around where the students eat, people who sell them clothes. Yeah. So there's an entire ecosystem that has been hit hard by the fact that they don't have a ready set market for them to go and sell goods and services to these students at these schools that have closed. So it's another ripple, and no one's resigned. Nobody has resigned over this. We just oil theft. No, Minister of Petroleum. Well, the president is the Minister of Petroleum. We have a Minister of State for Petroleum. That one too. No one's resigned there. I mean, if you think about any issue that somebody should be taking responsibility for in government, we just don't care. Like they don't. The officials there are like, oh wow, this who's this a stain on? who should this reflecting on, and this has gone on for so long? But government will probably point the finger at ASU and say they're the ones that are causing this. But you're supposed to negotiate, right? You're supposed to be, when you think about the consequences of this on our youth, with where unemployment is, and the fact that almost every majority of Nigerian youth want to get out of this country and just go somewhere else, right? No one's resigned. No one's, we're just sitting there. Meanwhile, government officials continue to go to Harvard and the UK and celebrate the fact that their children are graduating while this is going on. So Nigeria is just a tale of two cities, or a tale of two countries, where you just got one class and another, and one that doesn't care about the other, and the divide just continues to grow.
All right, let's look at the messages. And by the way, thank you to the people who sent in the messages debunking that third mainland bridge tidbit. They said,
yeah, see, I told you, you have to be careful with these WhatsApp messages. You really have to.
That the Students Association has already debunked that. Okay, Gilbert Musa from Festac says, our challenge in Nigeria is we don't seem to learn from our past experience. In June 1994, ASU embarked on a nationwide strike that ended in January 1995. Till date, we still dragged unresolved problems since 1994, over 2009, and we're in 2022. The same subject matter unresolved.
It's so sad. I would take this other one from Yinka Bolu, who is saying, on this issue of ASU and the federal government, both parties are just insincere and wicked. How does an 8-month-old strike do education any good? That's a whole session, guys. If you're not happy with your employer, please resign. If you get 200 billion naira you're asking for at 7 a.m. today, will it fix education overnight? Yesterday I said that we want to spend 6 trillion naira subsidy. Can we all agree to end subsidy and divert the money to ASU? Are we ready for such a conversation? Is ASU even putting forward that option? And why are their meetings not publicized?
Their lecturers had come out and suggested all the different ways that money could be diverted towards and the cause of ensuring the tertiary education system is revitalized and restructured. But it's like nobody was listening. Ogena Chuko says, this is why we need a leader with capacity, competency, and credibility. I canvass for strong institutions, not strong individuals. He also says that NANS seems to have adopted the NSAR strategy. Hit the high and mighty and you get a quick response.
Zikolo is in with this one. It says, nobody in government takes responsibility for any failure in government in this country. Don't forget that our ministers of education, labor, tried to contest for president, and the political party even sold tickets for them and conceded them. It is well.
Right, correct. And that is correct.
We'll take this last one from Engineer Oris, who says the need of the government to want to control everything would be the bane to our progress. You want to control fuel price, exchange rates, energy prices, DSTV prices, etc. Grant these universities autonomy. If not, we'll be back here in a couple of months. Education is expensive. We are subsidizing education in Nigeria for the UK and Canada.
Well, that's about it. We've come to the end of the show for today. We'll do this again tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you so much, Rotus.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, sir.
The ASU strike and the impact it has on businesses in Nigeria. That's about it. My name is Victor Peppo.
I'm Sope Martins. Make sure you go find Rotus on Twitter at Rotancoach so that you can continue the conversation with him and even start up a new conversations of what you might want him to talk about on Business Express. It's always fun when you bring up these things that, are affecting us, but then we need to figure out really, how is it now affecting our pockets? All right.